On day 101, I spawned into the world as a land shark? No way! I can't believe I'm back as one of the coolest creatures to ever walk, or swim, the overworld. I celebrated my awesome return with a funky land shark dance, but as I sprung into the air to prepare for a land dive, the icy Alps frozen ground was too firm for me to descend into. I ended up bonking my big shark nose. Ouch! My adventure was just getting started, and I wanted to revel in my cool land shark form a little while longer, even if this biome was uncomfortably cool. That's when I saw a roving mutant husk. Hey there, Mr. Mutant Husk! I'm freezing my fins off out here. Could you direct me to a warmer place? The last thing I want to do is turn into a frozen fish stick, and on my first day, no less.
Ho ho ho! Like a moth to a flame, and a land shark to land. What a catch! And I didn't even have to go fishing.
Excuse me?
Boss will make quite a tasty bowl of etouffee out of you. Order up!
The husk charged me at full speed. Confused and frightened, I began to swim away as fast as I could, trying to dodge his every swing, but he was just too quick. Though I started off with 6 hearts, they were getting pretty damaged and fast. In a panic and hoping to hide, I tried to dive under the ground again, but it was just too firm. I foolishly bounced back and fell right into the husk's clutches.
Haha, what a thick-headed move! Almost as thick as this frozen floor. Seems like you aren't cut out for this biome, but you'll serve up nicely on a chopping board.
On day 102, I was captured and forced along by the mutant husk on our way to an unknown but surely evil destination. We made a pit stop at the Dead Sea, where the husk rudely knocked me into an open body of water. Being a land shark by design, all things aquatic wasn't really my forte, so I started to sink beneath the waves. Are you crazy? Land sharks can't swim in water. We swim on land. Don't you know anything about land creatures? You are one.
Land shark nuggets and fries will surely sell like hotcakes around these parts. There's no way I'm letting you go. Now you just marinate in that super salty water for a bit. It'll be sure to give you lots of flavor.
Oh no, the threat of being eaten again? Can't a shark catch a break? As I sank beneath the Dead Sea's waves, I thought I saw a figure swimming toward me, but I was quickly losing consciousness.
A land shark? In the sea? Oh, that totally cannot be.
Like some sort of fuzzy angel, I was aided back up to the surface by a sea panda.
You think you're the only upside-down creature in the overworld? Well, think again, dude. Swim again. On land, up you go.
The sea panda helped me back onto the craggy rocks bordering the Dead Sea.
Dude, this is gnarly. I haven't seen a land shark in years.
And I haven't been a land shark in years. Or actually, I don't know how long it's been since I've been a land shark, and I'm definitely rusty with my abilities.
Can't surf on a rusty board, bro. That's my motto. You may be slow to swim in the ocean, but you gotta remember, you land sharks are mad fast on land. That's what I've heard.
As it turned out, the sea panda was right. With my shark speed, I turned and blasted off, whizzing and zipping across the rocks of the Dead Sea. If I'd become a land shark again, there must be a reason. I needed to find out why. On day 103, I escaped into the wild of the bamboo jungle in hopes of finding some food to munch on. Hungry as can be and pretty low on health, I knew the only way to restore my hearts was to grab a quick meal. I guess in this world, it's eat or be eaten. But I, for one, refuse to be turned into someone else's chum. Scouring the bamboo jungle for some chow, my carnivore tummy rumbled. Apples, apples, apples! Is there anything here other than apples? Like a rabbit? Or, I don't know, barbecue chicken pizza? Or buffalo wings? I knew it was only a matter of time before I'd swim into my next foe. So for now, I had to settle for some apples. Munch, munch, munch. They may not taste good to my carnivore palate, but wowza, they sure did help with my hunger. But I couldn't dwell on that. Now when some big booming footsteps were coming my way, it was a fire ogre.
Something around here smells fishy. Hello? Anybody out here?
Before I could be seen, I took the opportunity to hide from the stranger before me, even if he didn't seem particularly mean.
I could have sworn I smelled sushi. Oh well, I'm sure there's other stock to be had out here.
Unable to see me, the ogre searched and stomped around, shaking the ground with his feet. Eventually, he came to a stop right in front of where I was hiding.
I feel like something's right under my nose. Oh, never mind. I've got my restaurant to get back to. If it wasn't for one of my minimum wage mutants calling out sick last minute, I wouldn't have had to come out here looking for stock myself. We may be short for the day, but I guess whatever supply we have back at the base will make do.
The ogre stomped off in a disgruntled hurry. I pocketed a few more apples, hoping they'd come in handy later. With my health almost fully restored from the apples I ate, and curious as to where he was headed, I decided to stealthily sneak around, following the ogre's trail. From day 104 to day 105, I followed the ogre back to his base. It looked like a fast food restaurant with a drive-thru and everything. I followed him inside, trying my best to conceal my fin. It wasn't easy to sneak, but before I could explore any more of the restaurant myself, the ogre saw me.
Oh my, mutants! Get the rat traps again! This is a big one! Wait a second. You're not a rat. You're a land shark.
Yes, sirree. And I'm sorry, Mr. Ogre. I didn't mean to intrude. You won't make me into a shark étouffée, will you?
Intrude? Étouffée? Kiddo, calm down. We opened at 8 a.m. You're here on public hours. You didn't break in. Right now, you're a paying customer to me, just like everybody else. Now, can I get you anything? Soda pop, french fries, one of our famous sliders?
And how? Gee, thanks, Mr.
Fiery Fry. And you can get delicious cooked meat from our restaurant anytime you want.
And to prove he was legit, he gave me some delicious crispy bacon and some stone utensils. I gleefully headed out from Burger King with the bacon and the utensils in my inventory. Gee, these utensils are awfully heavy. It's almost like they're made of stone. These aren't just any utensils, they're certified stone utensils. A pickaxe, an axe, and a sword. Wow! With my new stone tools, all thanks to Mr. Fry, I began to search for the perfect place to build my own base. And, most importantly, a dining room. With a free meal in Finn, I wanted a place of my own to sit down and enjoy it. Swimming along the ground with my incredible shark speed, I was quick to find a nice patch of land in the leafy bushy plains. These bushy plains almost look like a giant salad. I think this is the perfect place to get started on my new home. And so, I began to build myself a base. I decided to go all in and started by building up some massive walls and made the outlines for the rooms. I capped it all off with a huge overhanging roof. I was in a teeny bit of a hurry, so as not to let my food go cold, but I poured most of the detail work into my dedicated dining room. As a connoisseur carnivore, I wanted the perfect mealtime ambiance, and my building skills did not disappoint. Proud of my work, and in such a reasonable time to boot, I stepped back to revel in my success with a mouthful of the most delicious bacon I've ever had. Phew. Teamwork makes the dream work. Wait, who am I talking to? I'm the only one here. Or so I thought, until a mutant husk emerged.
Prepare to be braised, you bland land shark.
Bland? You threw me into the Dead Sea to soak. I'm saltier than ever about that, in both the metaphorical and literal sense. I darted around the husk with my incredible shark super speed, hoping to dodge as many attacks as I could. But working in fast food service made him unreasonably quick, so he managed to land a few blows. Food fight! I unleashed all the apples I was holding onto from before, tossing a ton at the grumpy employee. Pelting him endlessly with the fruit, the mutant husk was defeated. Man, if only he had eaten apples on the daily, he could have avoided doctors and his demise. My evil defeating apple triumph granted me with not only 20 hearts, but an epic jump boost. Wow, this is awesome. Being a land shark is cool and all, but it stinks I can't dive up into the sky. I can only dive down. Oh well. Maybe sky sharks will eventually be a thing. If only. From day 106 to day 108, I happily swam around the bushy plains looking for some other land sharks to meet. That bacon Fry gave me was the best bacon I've ever had. I gotta tell the other land sharks about it. Land sharks, hello? Here, sharky, sharky, sharkies. It's me, Zozo. But nobody came. At least, no land sharks.
Hey, Zozo! What's up, little dude?
I turned around to see Sea Panda, who was basking in the garden's resident pond. Hey, Sea Panda! Boy, am I glad to see you. It was getting pretty lonely out here. I was starting to think that I was the last guy in the overworld. Say, have you seen any other land sharks around here? I'm trying to tell them about this awesome restaurant I found. It seems to cater to carnivores.
Yeah, carnivores? Gnarly. I may be a vegetarian, but I'm happy you found a place that suits your dietary needs.
My needs, and other land sharks' needs too. Jeez, where have they all gone?
Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry, bro. Like I said before, you're the first land shark I've seen in a long time. Maybe if we team up, we can try to find them.
That'd be super helpful, actually. Thanks.
Totally. And hey, maybe your restaurant friends have an idea as to where they've gone. Might want to ask them too. Anyways, I'm out. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I sped through the plains, making my way back to Burger King in hopes of getting some answers. When I got there, Fry was nowhere to be seen. Fry! Hey, Mr. Fry, hello? Can I ask for your help on something? That's when Fry appeared behind me.
How may I help you?
I was actually here to ask you about land sharks.
Land sharks? Aren't you a land shark, kid? Forgive me, but what kind of answer can I give you that you don't already know?
Well, it's not about me, it's about others, like me. It seems like I'm the only land shark around, and I was wondering if maybe you've seen any of the others?
I see your dilemma, kid. Now, I can't say I've seen any around lately, but I do have an idea as to how we can bring them back. Here's a secret. My bacon made of chicken, kiddo, and land sharks like yourself have a brilliant sense of smell, and they love chicken. My minimum wage mutants are slacking off, so we're low on stock, which means we're low on bacon.
So what you're saying is if we find some chicken,
and we can make more bacon,
we can bring
lure
them all back here. Wait, did you say lure?
Off you go, kid. Now quit playing chicken and go get some chicken. I believe in you.
From day 109 to day 110, I dove deep into the Shulkin forest on the hunt for a perfect chicken. In such a unique biome, I couldn't help but explore and hop around with my epic jump boost. I was having so much fun just flouncing my fins through the grass that I almost forgot Fry's quest. Purple trees and shroom lights. Man, this place is awesome. I should have built my base here instead. This is the best land swim I've ever had. But all my diving and rustling through the forest startled a small gray thing out from the shrooms. It took me a second to realize it wasn't just an odd trick of the light. It was an iron chicken. Oh, like a moth to a flame. And wait, why does that phrase sound so familiar? Hey, relax. I'm not the bad guy here, I promise. I just need you to get my land shark family back. The chicken struck me hard. She was already on the offense. The chicken charged me like there was no tomorrow, which technically if I won, would have been true. She would have been bacon tomorrow. Pecking like crazy and showing no mercy, I tried to fight back with everything I had, but her ironed body was pretty resistant to hits. I used my land shark super speed and mega jump boost to my advantage. Then the chicken pecked me super hard on the head, as hard as an apple to the noggin, and I fell unconscious, giving her time to slip away.
Little dude, wake up!
Who's there?
Sea Panda, dude. That Quimby chicken totally smoked your vibe, man. I normally come to the Shulkrins to chillax, but with such a gnarly fight nearby, I just had to check it out. You're lucky I found you, bro. Here, I got you something to help you feel righteous again.
Sea Panda handed me a healing potion. Normally land sharks are averse to water, but desperate to feel better, I drank this bottle up quick. Cha, I'm feeling totally better already, Panda. Thanks, bro. Wait, why am I talking like this?
Don't worry, it'll wear off soon. But I think we should take you home, little man. That chicken almost forced you to wipe out. Why are you here fighting that thing anyways? Weren't you supposed to be looking for your land shark friends and asking that Fry guy about them?
I did. When I talked to Fry, we came up with a plan to get them back. He needed more stock for his kitchen, and we thought cooking chicken burgers would entice the land sharks back to his restaurant.
Dude, are you sure he's not throwing you into the deep end? Coming out here on your own is like a sink, no swim mission. With all the chickens he's collected over the years, he must know how dangerous these iron birds are to catch.
And he also knows I'm a dangerous fighter. I'm a land shark for C's sake. Top predator in all of the overworld. He's a good guy, Panda. He just probably forgot what it's like to get one on his own. He's got employees to do this kind of stuff for him. Feeling doubts, but still pretty confident, I thanked Panda and flopped my way out of the Shulkran forest. From day 111 to day 112, I returned to Urger King. Head down and empty-handed, or empty fin. Fry, I'm back. Forewarning, I did not get the chicken, but I can go back once I prepare myself better for battle.
Land Shark, you're back? Zozo, you're back. Oh, how happy I am to see you, kiddo.
Yeah, same here. Why are your teeth gritted like that?
Because I'm so happy. Oh, so happy to see you alive and well.
Oh, me too. I was scared I wouldn't make it back alive. I didn't realize I'd be up against an iron chicken. Those things are tough to beat. Don't you know it? They have like iron armor built in. It's practically in their name.
Right, so where is this iron chicken now? Did you...
Destroy her? Oh, no. She was too strong for that. But I did plan on going back to fight her again. That way we can finally make that bacon and get my family back.
Let's put a pin in that. How about we embark on a better plan? Hear me out. All the meat establishment lures in a lot of pests. Rats, mice, roaches. But none of those make for a good meal, you know? Being a carnivore yourself, would you really go for rat meat?
Not if I absolutely had to.
Exactly. Now there's one creature I think would make better bacon than chicken. Ever heard of raccoon? Bring him back here to me, and we can make bacon so unique, so awesome, that your shark friends will be clamoring out the window just to get a nibbling.
Heading out from Fry's, I decided my best course of action would be to upgrade my stone tools and craft some iron weaponry just as a safeguard. I swam down to the deep mining caves and collected some more, hoping to later smelt some ingots. Right as I finished in the caves, I spotted another mutant husk. This time, I attacked the mutant first, striking with all my might and taking him down in one final blow. Phew, glad that's over with. I flopped back to my base in the bushy plains with ore to spare. Using the other pieces I'd collected along the way, I whipped up an awesome furnace. Hot. Just hot enough to smelt some iron ore into ingots, then build an iron sword, an iron pickaxe, and even some iron pieces. Can't see it on my land shark body, but it'll protect me all the same. From day 113 to day 115, I arrived at the Araucaria Savannah, ready to face this ravenous raccoon with the powerful iron weapons and armor. Come out wherever you are, and meet my iron sword, raccoon. But announcing myself was a bad idea, because the raccoon immediately hopped out behind me.
That won't do a thing, Chipsharoo. I've been expecting you, and I'm better prepped.
Huh? But this is a surprise attack. Me and Fry were the only two people who knew about this plan. Who could have told you? Because I'm sure as heck it wasn't me.
Well, if it wasn't you, and Fry was the only other guy who knew, then who could have told me, smart guy? Oh, I can see those wheels turning. Don't hurt your little shark brain from thinking too hard. Either you fight me, and we end this according to plan, or I give you the grace to confront the big man about it yourself. Saying we're gonna destroy you anyways, it's the least I can do.
I don't believe you.
Then say hello to my little friends, Chip Chee Chee.
All right. I'm going to talk to him. Jeez, Fry was right about you. You really are trash.
Hey, I'm a trash dweller, not trash itself. And as the saying goes, one man's trash is another raccoon's treasure. That's how I built my fortune anyways.
I'm not here for financial advice. I'm here to get to the bottom of where my fishy family went. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Good luck, you smelly surface sardine. You're gonna need it.
From day 116 to day 119, I sped back to Urger King, a bad feeling bubbling up in my fish gut. Fry, Fry, step away from the griddle. I've got a few questions for you.
Zozo, hey, what are you doing here?
Oh, can it, Fry? You know what you did. You hired not one, but two people to destroy me. So why? Why'd you do it? And where's my land shark family?
Why, I have no idea what you're talking about, Zozo. In fact, I'm offended you'd think I'd even do such a thing. Now, if I may, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. You're making quite the scene in my 5-star dining establishment.
This isn't over, Fry. I know what you did, even if you say you didn't. And I'm going to get to the bottom of it, even if I have to dive into the deepest parts of the land to get answers. Frustrated, I headed back to my base to do some much-needed thinking. Sitting at my empty dining room table, I felt very much alone. How I wish I could entertain my land shark family here. It's all so lonely. If only I had a pal to—
Dude, bro, man, Diggity Dog, Swanky Brother.
I looked over to see Sea Panda standing behind me. What's wrong? You're normally so laid back. I don't think I've ever heard you talk this quick before.
Yeah, because it's totally urgent. That Fry guy I warned you about, he's making deadly waves in the savannah, man. You gotta help me stop him. He's way too gnarly to take on alone.
Lead me to him, Pandude. Sea Panda and I rushed back to the Araucaria savannah, where we were immediately met with the unsightly sweep of destruction. All at the hands of Fry. Stay back, Panda. It's too dangerous. Let me see what happened here. I left Panda and ran in alone to confront Fry. What in land Poseidon's name are you doing, Fry? And where's that raccoon I met here a few days prior?
Oh, that little trash eater? Oh, let me think. Oh yeah, I destroyed him. For someone who loved dumpster diving, he sure didn't want to carry out the dirty work I hired him to do.
Dirty work? So this whole time, you have been trying to obliterate me. But why? And where are all the other land sharks?
You'll never find them, you glorified sardine. Ever since my sister was turned to soup, I made it my life's goal to destroy her destroyer and avenge her with a bigger, better restaurant in her image. She was more of a fine cuisine cook, but my fast food diner will be sure to make her proud once I serve up this brand new dish I've been stewing over. Wanna hear the pitch?
No, it can't be. You're the brother of…
That's right, Sous Chef, the villain you faced last time you were a land shark.
Bursting into a cackle, Fry Cook continued to destroy the savannah. I ran in and tried to attack him, but with every attack I tried to deliver, I only grew weaker and weaker with every attempt. And just like the deepest point in the ocean, everything went dark. From day 120 to day 122, I awoke to a battered, beaten, and practically deep-fried savannah with no Fry Cook in sight. Groggily coming to my senses, I happened to notice Sea Panda hiding in a hole nearby. Is he gone?
Fry? Oh yeah, bro dipped out of here ages ago. And by ages, I mean like, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes? But if we bounce now, maybe we can start to plan how we're gonna take this dude down.
Before it's too late. Yeah, I like how you think, Panda. Let's make a quick pit stop before I head back to my base. I think it's time I built you a room fit for your aquatic needs.
You mean I can move in with you?
Yeah.
Sweet. That's what I like to hear.
Sea Panda and I headed back to my house, gathering lots of materials on the way. When we arrived back at the base, I constructed my friend his very own place to live, fit with its own gigantic pool. I threw in some lily pads and garnished it with lots of bamboo. And being a vegetarian, Sea Panda was a huge fan of the bushy plains. It was, like I said before, pretty reminiscent of living in a big salad. After I was done building, he stepped back to view his new home.
This is the crib of my dreams. Thanks, bruh. If I ever start a surfboard collection, these walls are gonna house every one of them.
From day 123 to day 126, I returned to the icy Alps, hoping to find one of Fry's minimum wage mutants like I had on day 1. If Fry won't tell me where my family is, then maybe one of his goons will. My thoughts were interrupted by the sound of rapid footsteps coming up behind me.
Sky whale, cave turtle, mud cat.
A weird bird ran by me, faster than the speed of, well, land shark. It seemed like he was being chased, but I couldn't yet see from what.
Grass dog, sea panda, land shark. Land shark? Wowee! I haven't seen one of you in ages! How'd you get all the way up here in the icy Alps? You can't dive into frozen ground, you big goofball!
Yeah, I know, but I'm not out here to swim. I'm here to find a mutant. See any of those around here?
Mutant? Nope. Can't say that I have. If it doesn't have a name before its name, it's not a name I care to remember.
What do you mean by that?
You know, land shark, puddle mouse, prairie lemur. I'm a road runner. And that thing over there, approaching us at high speeds, is a dreadghoul.
He was right. In the distance, there was a big, scary dreadghoul. Oh no, these ghouls are super tough to beat, especially for a little guy like you. I say this kindly. Get out of here, runner of the road. I'll take him one-on-one. As Roadrunner sped off, I was tapped in to battle the ghoul. I zipped around the ghoul, the icy ground aiding in my momentum. Hit, slam, wham! With a few more blows, I sent the ghoul to a watery grave and gained 30 hearts in the process. I hopped into the air with glee, but upon hitting the ground, I caused a big smash. Wow, I may not be able to dive beneath the icy ground, but I sure did make quite the crater. Winning that fight must have granted me a smash ability as well. Next time I see Fry, he's as good as toast. From day 127 to day 131, I traversed the icy Alps in hopes of finding a mutant to interrogate, but unfortunately, none came. I did, however, find a gaggle of sheep who, by the looks on their faces, seemed to be scared about something, and I had a pretty good idea as to the cause. That monster Fry must be thinking about making shepherd's pie, huh? I'll protect you. Follow me, and I'll make you a place at my base. Like a shepherd, but minus the pie. I led the sheep back to my home and built a comfortable room to live in, stocked full of soft places to lay and free from any danger. The sheep seemed to like it a lot, and when I was done, they settled in nicely. After that, Panda approached me with some more good news.
Zozo, sweet sheepdog you got here. While you were busy making improvements, I was also busy making improvements. Base stuff, really cool, I promise. Here, my man, check it out.
Sea Panda showed me his own base build, our very own crop field.
I know you're a carnivore and all, but all this food talk was making me hungry. If you ever want a snack, feel free to stop by my totally tubular snack shack.
Gee, thanks, Panda. Even though it's nutritionally null to me, I have been craving lettuce, probably because our surrounding biome kinda looks like lettuce.
Exactly. Hey, I wonder what Fry's doing right now. Wouldn't it be awesome if we could cut to the chase, kiddo? Why do you think you'd be a good employee here at Burger King?
Fry was interviewing a creepy charged creeper about joining his franchise of evil.
Well, for one, I'm not intimidated by the job interview process. 2, I'm punctual. 3, I love keeping things tidy. And 4, I have lots of good references. What about scheming? Ooh, I love scheming. What about secret keeping? Ooh, I love secret keeping. Great, you're hired. Now walk with me, kid. I've got a new recipe I've been antsy to try. Your charged up energy adds fuel to my grease fire. I've been rounding up some mighty delicious land sharks for a while now, and I think I'm finally ready to start executing my new dish. Sharks and chips. You know, like fish and chips, but better. Think you can keep this recipe under wraps? What recipe? Oh ho ho ho, you're good. I'll show you to the land shark cages, kid. Welcome to your first day at Burger King.
From day 132 to day 135, I retraced my steps to the Dead Sea where my shark-like intuition was correct. I found a minimum wage mutant. Before it could charge me, I sprung into the air as high as I could go, landing with a large smash and rattling the ground around me. I don't want to hurt you, believe me. Your wages are painful enough, but come any closer and I'll turn you into a mutant stew.
We get it, Land Shark, relax. But if you're here for your family, you're looking in the wrong place. We have no idea where they are. We deliver sharks to Fry, and he takes them into his own possession. After that, where they go is beyond us.
And why should I believe you?
Because, well, a lot of us mutants quit on him. There's a super high turnover rate, and he's already in the process of replacing us. We've got a new boss now, and we'll bring you to her. She pays us more than minimum wage. Here, follow us.
The mutant gave me directions to find their new employer. I followed those directions deep into the Dead Sea, where in a stony village I found the new boss, an adorably cute Shiba Inu.
Oh, hi there. Welcome to No Grub's Grub Inspection, where we sniff out your restaurant's bugs. Are you a new client or looking for employment with us?
Oh, no, sorry, I'm not job hunting. I'm family hunting, or family searching. Your minimum wage mutant employees.
You mean my proper wage pals?
Yes, your proper wage pals used to work for this guy named Fry, a crazy cook with a diner named after him. I think he has my family in his clutches, and I need to get them back, but I'm not quite sure where.
Burger King, one of the worst establishments I've ever seen in regards to public health.
Did he have any secret rooms you can remember?
Not that I can recall, but if you come back later, maybe a review through my old inspection files could jog my memory. I can let you know then.
Thank you for your help, ma'am. I really appreciate it. In the meantime, I'll see what I can do on my own.
Sounds like a plan. Listen, little shark, if we can get that place closed forever, believe me, I'll be a very happy pup.
From day 136 to day 139, I dove down into the mining caves once more, hoping to craft a little something better than iron. Designed with only humans in mind, the armor I was banking on didn't quite fit my shark body, but I was gonna make it for protection anyways. I mined quickly through the cave, using my smash skill to get through some of the harder parts, always hoping to find the perfect material. I also gathered some iron armor pieces in the process, but after getting deep enough, I got lucky and found some diamonds. These are awesome! I'm gonna give some of these to Panda as a gift. Diamonds are a best friend's best friend. To my complete surprise, Panda appeared in the cave right next to me.
Bruh, I'm so flattered.
Whoa, Sea Panda, how'd you get down here? Don't you need water to bask in at, like, all times?
Since these mining caves are below sea level, my body is totally acclimated to it.
That's awesome, but now you know about my diamond surprise, so it's not much of a surprise anymore. That's a real bummer.
Knowing the thought behind it makes me appreciate the gift a bit more, actually. But I've got something even cooler than diamonds. Check this out! A sword of 1,000 metals! This thing's unbreakable, like our totally righteous bond.
He gave me the sword, I put it in my inventory, equipped it, and gave it a few swings. Wow, Sea Panda, thank you so much. But how can I ever repay you?
Don't worry about it, man. It's on me. But there is something you should be worried about.
What?
There's some dude back at our base yakking about how much he needs to talk with you. I think you should meet with him to get him to stop,
Yakking? Will do. I climbed out of the mining cave, keeping my awesome new sword ready. I arrived back at my base, hoping to meet with the stranger my friend told me about. It was a yak. Wow, when Sea Panda said you were yakking, he meant it very literally.
I mean, I am a yak, so it's what I do. Anyways, I'm Yak Money Sack from the Food Establishment Tax Division. While I was out doing my quarterly rounds, my friend Sheba asked me to go swing by and tell you she must speak with you about something. Better hurry, it's urgent.
Speedy Swimmer is my land shark middle name. I'll head over right now. From day 140 to day 143, I hurriedly met back up with Sheba at No Grub's Grub Inspection. According to her,
This meeting was very urgent, so thanks for being so punctual. Again, if you're ever looking for a job,
you'll hire me. I know. Thanks, Sheba. It's nice to have that security, but for now, I'm a land shark, not an employed shark. So what's the sitch?
such is, I think I know where Fry might be hiding your family. I briefed through my old inspection files and found something of note. Fry had a sister with an establishment of her own. Sous chef?
Yeah, spoiler alert, he revealed that a couple days ago.
But did he reveal the dish she was famous for was soup?
Yeah, I knew that from battling her in my first 100 days as a land shark. That's kinda, sorta, maybe how I defeated her, by pushing her into her own minestrone.
Did he tell you that after her demise, no one knows where all that soup went? So stew was so salty that the Dead Sea would pale in comparison. If your family is anywhere, they may be marinating in that soup before Fry turns them to bacon. One thing's for certain, that family loves salt.
If only we could find that aquarium. Oh, Sheba, we're land sharks. We're not made for water or soup. We gotta get them out of there, and fast. I turned to leave eagerly to find my family when a horrifying charged creeper ran towards me.
Watch how quick I can tear this place down, you scheming soup haters. Hope you're good at inspecting damage, cause I'm about to inflict a ton of it.
This guy must work for Fry. I ran away from the charged creeper as fast as I could until I lost sight of him. At this point, Sheba reappeared.
I'm coming with ya.
Your files, he might destroy them all.
Doesn't matter. Let's get out of here. Put that cheetah speed and kangaroo jumping skills to use.
Actually, it's land shark speed and jumping skills, but I'm already on it. From day 144 to day 149, Sheba and I returned to my base, pacing around in hopes of coming up with the perfect plan of defeat. I'm pacing. How come nothing's coming to mind? Isn't pacing supposed to give me all the answers?
Maybe it's because you don't have legs.
Right. I think I'm just swimming in circles.
But I'm capable of pacing, and in all this pacing I've done, I think I finally have the answer for both of us. A Tide Guardian chest plate. Now, I know you're a land shark, so you're pretty water averse. But if Fry's keeping your family in a big stock pot of soup, salting them up for the frying pan, then you may have to dive in there and save them yourself. And in that situation, a Tide chest plate could be really helpful. The word Tide is even in the name.
Oh, wow, that sounds perfect. Where can I get my fins on it?
I don't know, but I'm sure asking around should yield some answers. Before you head out, you should build a secret containment room for it. Fry would do anything to get his hands on such a chest plate. If he could breathe underwater, just imagine how many sea pandas he could hunt and fillet once you land sharks are driven into extinction.
I followed Sheba's advice and constructed a fry-proof containment room for the chest plate with high security doors and lots of signs that read, "Definitely no Tide chest plates here." That'll be sure to keep him away. Once the build was done, I swam out from my base and headed back into the world, hoping to get some answers as to where I could find such a powerful item, and finally retrieve my fishy family. From day 150 to day 153, I dove headfirst into the Shulkran forest. With such cool trees, it was my favorite biome to land swim in, and I did a few happy high jumps and smashed into the ground to celebrate. That said, my frolicking would have been a lot more fun if I had some other land sharks with me. Oh well, soon I'll have my fin friends back, and I'll take them on a trip here to swim. The name for a group of sharks again? A gaggle? A school? A force? As if on cue, a donkey popped out from the darkness.
A group of sharks is called a shiver.
Yeah, with how quick you snuck up on me, you gave me the shivers.
I have that effect on people.
Are you just gonna stand there, or could you give me some advice?
Advice for what?
For where I could find this thing called a guardian plate Tide chest item? It's very important to my situation.
Why would you need that?
To defeat my mortal enemy.
Why do you need that?
Because he stole my family.
Why?
Because, well, I destroyed his sister not too long ago. But she was a jerk and tried to turn me into soup. So I turned her into soup. And in that specific situation, my actions were more than justified.
I agree. I never liked that sous chef anyways. She was always trying to put donkey on her menu, which, obviously, I was opposed to.
Her brother Fry is keeping my family in a big vat of soup and marinade sous chef style before turning them into shark bacon. I need to dive in there to save them, but because I'm a land shark, I can't breathe underwater. The chest plate should help me with that.
Say, if you dive into that devious soup marinade, you'd be contaminating the batch, being a foreign object and all. And if health inspection finds out about such a feat, they'll be sure to shut his diner down for good.
Wow, I never even thought of that. This plan just gets better and better with every second. You know what would make things extra better?
What?
You could tell me where the chest plate is.
Sorry, land shark, I have no idea. But maybe if you ask around.
Yeah, I've heard that line before. I feel like I'm being sent on a wild shark chase, but I'm sure all this searching will eventually pay off. Thanks for your wisdom anyways, donkey. I hope you don't get turned into a delicious meal by Fry either.
Me either. And you're welcome. Now go fry that cook.
From day 154 to day 157, I continued my search for the Tide Guardian chest plate, traversing the overworld. But ba-dum, 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 ba-ba.
Dumb.
I was spooked by a loud shout. It was the charged creeper. I'm no dummy. Wait, you again? You're Fry's new employee.
And his best employee. Now prepare to be canned. You gargantuan tuna. Land sharks on the menu tonight.
How about you can it, creep? Can it with the bad one-liners.
You first.
I went head-to-head with the creeper, using all the skills I've ever known. High jumps and smashing the floor, sending debris everywhere. And thanks to Sea Panda, I swung my sword of 1,000 metals in a vicious rage. I may have been a shark, but my strength was as powerful as a whale. Or at least I thought. The charged creeper shocked me, and although it wasn't enough to completely take me out, I could definitely feel the burn. Creeper charged up and shocked me again and again and again. It was just too much for me to handle, and like a shrimp, I was forced to flee. That guy means business, food business. I gotta get out of here. I swear, it's always out of the frying pan.
And into the fire. That's where you'll be once you finish marinating in my sister's soup. Look at you guys in that aquarium, like pathetic little sardines packed into a tin. Once Zozo is out of the way, I'll drop my line of delicious land shark bacon, and soon there will be Burger King restaurants everywhere. An endless chain taking over the world, all thanks to you silly little fishes.
From day 158 to day 162, I returned to my base in the bushy plains, where Panda approached me with some much-needed good news.
Dude, I'm building a totally sweet defense bunker, but it'll require some gnarly materials to complete.
Gnarly is my middle name, or one of them at least, since my full name is Land Zozo Gnarly. Subscribe to Zozo Shark. I'll be sure to grab some materials the next time I'm out and about. With that, I descended down into the deep mines in order to get my fins on some fresh and shiny diamonds. I chipped at the stone with my pickaxe until the diamonds were plentiful. I took my plunder and immediately used it to craft a brand new pickaxe as well as a diamond sword. I couldn't neglect my defenses either, so I used the rest of the loot to craft a diamond helmet for myself. You may not be able to see it, but it definitely makes me feel safer. From day 163 to day 166, I was paid a welcome visit by the Shiba Inu in charge of No Grub's Grub inspection.
Remember that special chest plate I told you about? We found a cavern full of superheated thermal vents that used to be underwater, but is now accessible through the tunnels beneath the overworld. Few things can survive down there, Zozo. It's hazard central.
And is the chest plate down there?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't just send us to a nightmarish abysmal biome if there wasn't a good reason for it.
Short while later, Shiba and I had delved down to the brimstone cavern she mentioned. Contrary to how sure she seemed back in my base, there wasn't any sign of the chest plate. So much for that.
Hey, don't doubt my nose for special items. It makes me a sad puppa when you do that. I'm sure the chest plate is just past that area of impassable thermal vents that would boil you to a crisp on contact.
Just forget it. We'll come back another day, but only if you're really, really, really sure.
I'm so sure, Zozo. You don't even know how sure I am.
Yeah, I guess I really don't. From day 167 to day 170, Shiba had an entirely different task for me to complete. I hope you don't think this means I'm going to start working for you. I like to be my own boss.
Don't worry. Nothing's official if I don't pay ya. And this is more of a hint about how to rescue your family than anything. So you should totally listen up and stuff.
All right, okay. I get it. Just tell me what I need to do.
Thank you for your cooperation. We've got eyes on a big scary henchman who once applied for a job at Fry's, but was fired in his training period. His name is Pigless.
Pigless? That sounds familiar. I'll make sure he doesn't have any lingering connection to the chef family. According to Shiba, Pigless was in the same biome as the base, and he was destroying parts of the ground as he approached our location. I intercepted him along the way and decided to grill him about his motives. Stop right there, Pigless. Zozo, we meet again. You know me? Come on, don't you remember? I was the villain's main henchman in the 100 Days as Diamond Venom video. Oh yeah, that was you, wasn't it? Talk about a blast from the past. blast. Yeah, I was hoping I could team up with Fry Chef and it would be a whole dramatic rematch between the two of us in this video. But he fired me, so now I'm between henching jobs. Oh man, sorry it didn't work out. I bet our fight would have been cool. It would have been everybody's favorite part of the video. Oh, Zozo, I don't know what to do with myself anymore. Oh, don't cry. Tell you what, Pigless, there's nothing saying you have to be an evil henchman. Maybe you could be my henchman instead. You mean it? Yeah, Pigless and Zozo, a team up for the ages. Heck yeah, I'm in. That's some piggy power. From day 171 to day 174, the base was under a dangerous lightning attack by Fiery Fry's latest employee of the month.
I am punctual, I am clever, and I am a force of absolute devastation who represents the interests and aims of my employer.
The crooked creeper cook began to blow up the base with a bevy of lightning strikes, so I booked it out to the battlefield to break some brutal and blunt. I drew my sword of 1,000 metals and rushed towards Fry's henchmen, dodging lightning along the way. I swung at the employee, expecting him to take damage, but instead he hit me so hard I was knocked back. In the process, the special sword was knocked out of my inventory, and that creeper jerk stole it and ran off. No! I was so upset by the loss of my sword that I went to my room to have a big ol' sulk about it. Man, how come employed people always act like they are better than me? I don't need a job to feel a sense of purpose in my life. I might need one to eat though. Sea Panda came and found me soon enough and cheered me up with the news that he had rebuilt the exploded portions of the base.
It was a DIY, bro.
Meanwhile, Fiery Fry was still simmering the stew that contained my shark family.
They say that slow-cooked soup is the item that gives a chef the most connection to the community. My sister may not be around to see how the world will enjoy land shark bacon and maybe some shark fin soup, but I will savor every moment until it is ready to share and eat. I hope she's smiling up at me from the great kitchen down below.
From day 175 to day 178, I couldn't help but sulk around my base, missing my sword of 1,000 metals almost as much as I miss my family. That lousy creeper, taking things that aren't his. He's already employee of the month. What else could he possibly need in life? What is he even gonna use that sword for? Lucky for me, my moping was interrupted by the arrival of my good friend, the Sheba.
Wipe that glum look off your fishy face, sweetheart. I know something that'll cheer you up and blow that sword right out of the water.
The gift was a type of weapon I'd literally never seen before. A bubble bow. Whoa, a bubble bow?
Why don't you try and use the bow against that creeper next time you go head to head? You defeating him will surely cheer you up, which will cheer me up, and then everyone will be happy.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. I think I'm gonna go do that right now. From day 179 to day 184, I did exactly what I said I was gonna do and defeat that creeper right now. I fought my way all the way to the villainous territory of the cryptic waste, ready to take on the charged creeper. When I arrived, he was waiting for me already. I'm gonna defeat you right now.
I appreciate the enthusiasm, but since Fry's team building day was yesterday, I'm exhausted from all the niceties. Now, I just wanna be mean. Good thing you're the perfect punching bag.
The creeper pulled out an insanely metal sword. It wasn't just any sword. Hey, that's my sword of 1,000 metals. You're gonna fight me with my own weapon?
Duh. It's a pretty poignant reminder that I'm awesome and you're not. Prepare to be cat chow, you stinky salmon.
Enough with the fish insults! I struck first with my bubble bow. The charged creeper didn't seem to mind it much. Then, he turned my own sword on me. I could see my life flashing before my eyes. My shark family, Sheba, Sea Panda, that admittedly good bacon I had when I first met Fry. Drawing on our impenetrable land shark bond with my kidnapped family, their love granted me with 100 hearts, and I unleashed a tidal wave of bubble attacks onto the creeper, grinding his hearts down and eventually defeating him with a final shot. And most importantly, I took my sword back. Oh yeah, baby! Clean up on Isle Creeper. Pew pew pew! While I was making my celebratory laser noises, I just so happened to fire a wicked awesome ice blast. Whoa! Did I just shoot ice from my body? I guess my family granted me with ice powers too, knowing how utterly cool I am. Now that I've taken back my sword, it's time to take back my fam! From day 185 to day 189, I returned to my base to find Sea Panda had pretty much finished that totally gnarly defense bunker in my absence. Looks great, Panda!
Yeah, it's pretty epic, but it's not quite as epic as it could be. I figured, since you've been so generous in letting me stay here, I'd give you creative control in adding any Zozo-style finishing touches.
Oh, that's really sweet of you, Panda. I think I know exactly what to add. Inside the bunker, I made a sign that read, "This place was made with a secret recipe."
So, what's the secret recipe, my dude?
Friendship.
Bro!
After my heart-to-heart with Sea Panda, he wished me well as I flippered back to the Brimstone Caverns, ready to traverse its fiery depths. Now, with my ice-blasting powers, I was able to charge through the scorching thermal vents with ease. It's so cool down here now that these vents almost feel like air conditioning. Did I just invent air conditioning? A feathered serpent sprung out from the shadows, violently informing me I was definitely not the inventor of air conditioning. Thrilled to have my sword of 1,000 metals back, I brandished it and struck with ease. The creature put up a fair fight. Head-to-head in combat, I was eventually able to turn the monster into its own serpent stew. Glad I defeated that odd freak of nature in a place no one's ever able to lay eyes on it. Seriously, what kind of a serpent has feathers? Actually, look who's talking. I'm a land shark. With an inkling the serpent was patrolling the area for a reason, I ventured a bit further into the caverns to discover what he had been guarding. As you probably guessed, it was the Tide Guardian chestplate. I should have known! The guard was guarding a Tide Guardian chestplate. Yep, too bad he's Stu, cause now it's mine. Yeah, Zozo, let's go Zozo! Man, I really need to stop turning people into soup. From day 190 to day 194, I began my long trek out from the caverns, but I was met with a ghastly opponent, Fry himself.
3, 5, 4, fum. I'm your biggest foe, and you'd better run.
You're really leaning into this whole ogre thing, aren't you, Fry?
It is in my genes. Anyways, don't actually run. I'm here to make you an offer.
I know. Your employee of the month creeper didn't show up to work today, so you're looking for a replacement. Well, yeah, it was me. I defeated him, and I'm not sorry in the slightest. If it's a job you're offering, I'm not interested.
But I'm short-staffed, and I'm getting really tired of this whole battling it out type stuff. I'm not as young as I used to be. I have my own business to run. I just want to avenge my sister, and I'm a cook first, adventurer second. I know you want to dive into my stew and save your family, but I can't risk another health code violation. I can't imagine what the Sheba would do to me if they found an armor-wearing shark spoiling my latest batch. Those chest plates make stews taste way too metallic.
Wait, how did you know about my Tide Guardian chest plate?
I just followed you here. Duh.
Darn it! Before I could say another word, Fry hit me with his fiery fists, locking me in place with the sheer heat. It was a heat trap! Then he stole my new chest plate, the chest plate I'd been working so hard to find. Then he ran off, leaving me stuck and on fire in the Brimstone Caverns.
Smell you later, kiddo.
From day 195 to day 197, I was still stuck and on fire in the pits of the Brimstone Caverns. That's when I remembered I had my Ice Blast power. After a few blasts, things were cooled down again, and it was time to get out of the caverns. I needed to chase Fry before he could do more evil in the overworld. Once I'd escaped the Brimstone Caverns, I quickly swam to the Dead Sea, where I thought I could get some help from Sheba. But when I made it inside, I found that the whole place had been blown up. I searched through the rubble until I heard a voice.
Zozo, come closer.
It was Sheba, and it seemed like she had survived the explosions. But maybe not for much longer. Sheba, oh no, you're hurt.
I knew this day. I knew this day would come. In these kinds of stories of revenge, it's always the cute dog character that doesn't make it.
You're going to be fine.
That's a good line, Zozo. The scene is extra sad that way.
It doesn't have to be sad. You can pull through.
It's okay, Zozo. I knew it would happen this way. In a world of sea pandas, land sharks, and all kinds of other contradictory creatures, I am an arc dog. My job is to pass the torch to a hero at the most dramatic point in the story.
I don't see how a torch will help us. I mean, Fiery Fry is a fire guy and,
It's a metaphorical torch, Zozo. It represents your heroic determination to see things through to the end. Save your family, Zozo. Avenge me.
Shiba Inu disappeared from the story, but not from my heart. I promise that I'll bring Fiery Fry's culinary conquest to an end! On day 198, my heart was broken by the loss of my best puppy pal. I decided to head back home to get some help from my best panda pal. When I arrived back at my base, I realized most, if not all of it, had been destroyed, and all my sheep were taken too. Fry! I hate that guy! He's way too sly, and I want to cry! But from the special bunker he'd worked so hard to build, Panda emerged!
Zozo, let me be your hype man for a second.
Please, make it several seconds. I'm really upset right now.
You're awesome. You're radical. You're metal. You're gnarly. We'll fix up this situation.
Yeah?
We'll get your sheep back before Fry captures and turns them into shepherd's pie.
Yeah?
You're gonna save your land shark family.
Yeah! On day 199, I paid a visit to Fry's dreaded restaurant to save my shark family. Fry is going to be using all his most devious techniques, and I have to be ready for anything. It turned out I was right. I found Fry waiting outside, standing next to a chest with a huge pool of water behind him. On the other side of the pool of water, there was a small fish tank prison. Inside, I saw my land shark family waiting.
I've got a challenge for you, Zozo, but you'll need to overcome your fear of water. In this chest, I've got your precious Tide Guardian chest plate. Put it on, and you'll be able to swim across this lake and save your family. No strings attached.
I opened the chest and grabbed the chest plate, putting it on and rushing towards the pool of water. Just as I was about to super jump into it, I realized I could feel the heat coming off of the water. Fry was gonna trick me into boiling myself, that mega jerk. But I had a way of fighting back. I summoned up all my power and fired ice blast after ice blast into the pool of water, making a platform I could jump across. Now I can finally save my family. Getting over my fear, I hopped across water and got over to the fish tank on the other side. There, I busted down the wall of the prison tank and freed them all. Land sharks once again flopped across the land, but my struggle wasn't over. You guys get out of here. I've got some personal business to take care of here. On day 200, it was just me and Fry left outside the diner, ready to battle. Restaurant review websites should really allow for a rating lower than 0. After I defeat you, I'm going to become a website coding shark and implement that just to give Burger King a negative 50 billion zillion.
After you defeat me, fat chance! You may have saved your family, but now they won't be able to save you.
At least I was there for my family. Where were you when Sue got souped? She may have been a total jerk, but I have to say, her cooking skills were far better than yours.
It wasn't my fault our parents paid for her culinary school tuition and not mine. Wait, this isn't a therapy session. My parents didn't play favorites. I won't be psychoanalyzed by my own meal.
Fry ran at me with his big swinging fists. I burst out the bubble bow Shiba gifted me and aimed it at the nasty ogre. Boom! I shot Fry with my bubble bow, and just like the bubbling grease of a deep fryer, he sizzled out to nothing. Moments later, after the battle had already been won, Pigless turned up.
Zozo, I'm here to help you with the fight. I brought my sword and everything. Where's Fry? I'm ready to battle.
Sorry, Pigless, you just missed the battle, but I appreciate the support. You're a real one.
Sounds like I missed out big time.
And then we all laughed with another adventure won.